Hello and welcome to Learning Economics. We continue our journey data analysis using R, and in today's video we shall continue to explore the Dplyr package which we started in the last video. In the last video we worked on the verbs that actually perform some action on the rows, and in today's video we shall work on the verbs that perform some actions on the columns. There are four important verbs that affect columns without changing the rows. First is mutate, which creates new column which are derived from existing columns. Then we have select verb, which changes the column at present. Similarly, third is rename, which changes the name of the column, and fourth is relocate, which changes the position of the columns. Now let's learn the application of these four verbs through RStudio. So let's go on the screen. So here we are on RStudio screen. Let's load the package tidyverse to the library. So library, and we write tidyverse. And yes, it has been loaded. Now let's load the New York flight data as well. And this has also been loaded. So let's view this data. View flights. It will take some time to get this data set displayed before us. So let's wait for it. And yes, here is the data. You can see all the variables. And one important thing is that there are total 19 columns. And this is a useful information. Now let's start working on the first verb, which is mutate. And as I told you that the job of the mutate is to create a new column based on the manipulation or some algebraic operation on the existing columns. So let's work on it. First, let's use the pipe style. So pipe function mutate, and let's calculate the speed. And as you know that the speed is actually equal to the distance divided by the time, which is air time here. So we calculated distance divided by air time and multiply by 60, for example, to convert it into minutes. Now you can see that this shows that there are 20 columns now. The 20th column is actually of the variable speed, but we are unable to view this column on our screen because the screen of RStudio gives us a limited number of columns. And by default, this mutate function adds the new column at the right hand side of the data set. However, we can use dot before argument to add the variable to the left hand side or at the place of our own choice. So let's see how we can use this dot before argument and how it works. So again, coming over here, I'm again using the pipe function. So, and this time I'm writing the remaining code, or I'm breaking the code so that each line gives one argument. And for that, I am pressing the shift key and enter at the same time. So we are using mutate, and now let's assume we are calculating two variables. First is the gain, which is the difference between departure delay and arrival delay, ARR underscore delay column, and next we are calculating the speed, which is equal to distance divided by air time and multiply by 60. Okay, that's all of our mutate function, but we need to add dot before argument. So I am adding it on the next line. Dot before is equal to 1. Now you can see that this 1 is actually the place where the new columns are to be added. 1 starts from here. So first column gain has been added, and second column the speed has been added. And now you can see there are total 21 columns here. In the same way, we can use dot after argument as well. So how we can use that? So let me go to that, and instead of dot before, I write dot after. Now in both cases, dot before or dot after, we can either add a number here as I added 1, or we can add the name of the column before or after which we want to add new column. Let's suppose I want to add the new column just here. I mean, just after the month column. So I can write its number, or I can just add its name, which is month. And now you can see the new columns, gain and speed, have been added after month column. But one thing you need to note over here, that there no alteration is being made in the original data set. If you need to add this new column into original data set, I will tell you that later. Another thing to note is that in this way, using mutate function, we can work on numeric data, that is integral data or data of real numbers. However, we cannot do this operation on string variables or character variables. This is something important to note. Now let's work on the second verb, which is select. Where sometimes we have to work on the data sets with hundreds or even thousands of the variables. And it becomes really very difficult to focus on the key variables in which we are interested. In this situation, select allows us to select a useful subset using the operations based on the name of the variable. How we can use this select? For example, if I need only year, month, and day columns, only year, month, and day columns, how I can do that? I can do that like this. Flights using fly function, we select, and here we give the name year, month, and day. So now we have only year, month, and day over here. So this is a subset which we selected. For example, I can do the same operation using year, Then these two dots, I'm forgetting what we call it, but you should know what I mean. To date, it selects all the columns from year to day. For example, if I need to select from day to arrival time, what I can write, I can start from day and my ending entry will be arrival time ARR underscore time. So now we have only these: day, depart time, scheduled departure time, departure delay, and arrival. Similarly, if we want to select all these, for example, here to day column, but we want to exclude both year as well as day, what we need to do is just to add this not symbol before. So now we have all columns except year and to day. So now it starts from departure time and goes till the end. In this way, we can use it combining combining with the functions like start with, ends with, or contains. For example, let's assume that we want to select all those columns that ends with time. What we shall write is, here we can write ends underscore with, and then we can write time in the inverted commas. So all the brackets are closed, yes, and we have only those columns that end on time. So depart underscore time, schedule depart underscore time, arrival underscore time, all those variables that end with time. Similarly, we can have all those variables that contain a certain word. For example, we can use it that contains, and we can write, for example, DEP. So all those columns that contain the DEP, irrespective where it appears, so departure time, scheduled departure time, and departure delay. In this way, we can select this subsample on which we are focused very effectively. We can create new data set out of it and do our function on that. Now let's come to the third verb of today's lecture, which is rename. It's quite straightforward. If we need to rename any column's name, we use this. For example, if I am to rename this year by YR, I can just write it as flights rename. I should write the older name equal to the new name. Oh, sorry. I need to write the new name first equal to the older name. So I am giving the name YR to this column here. And now you can see it is representing here with YR. And similarly, I can do this on others as well. The fourth verb that we will be using today is the relocate. Relocate is used to move the variable around. It moves the variable to the front. For example, if I am to relocate time underscore R and air time. The time underscore R and air time. These two, air time and time underscore R. So what I need to do is I will write flights, relocate, and air underscore time and time underscore R. Now you can see air underscore time and time underscore R have moved to the extreme left or to the starting columns, followed by all the columns like year, month, day, etc., etc. We can also specify where we need to relocate these columns using dot before or dot after functions, as we just did. Assume I need to put the year and month after day. So what I shall do, I shall go into the relocate and write the name of the variables, year and month, and then I shall write dot after is equal to day. Originally they are before the day, but I want them to be moved after the day. So now let's see, the day is there, then year, and then months. Similarly, we can use start with, after with, or contains, along with relocate, and dot before or dot after. Let's do this for one time. Let's get to the flights and followed by relocate. And now we say start with, and here we say SCHED, scheduled, and then we say dot after, for example, month. So now after month, scheduled departure time, scheduled arrival time, all those columns that contain this word schedule, or that contain this word schedule in their start, they have been moved after month column. So these are some of the verbs that help us do some working on the columns. These are provided in the deployer function. The deployer function also provides us with the verbs to be used for the row operations. We covered them in our previous video, and it also provides us with the verbs that are operation that help us do some operations on groups or on the table as a whole, but we will cover these in our next video. So I would request you to practice these functions well, do some mastering on it, and let us know in comments if you are having any difficulty. So see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and bye-bye.